Early childhood education is an incredibly energizing and possible space to be for thinking through problems and experimenting with different ways of being in the world. When I work with young children, I feel a sense of authenticity and openness to ask questions that aren't easily answerable and perhaps that for my adult self feel impossible. In the same breath, being with children also affords a generosity in actually inhabiting and taking seriously those questions in ways that don't shy away from very real tensions and problems that living in a question poses to us. So this, for me, is the life-giving force of early childhood education.
I believe that when we develop curriculum, it should be in collaboration with children, it should be in collaboration with our colleagues, and this collaboration allows us to think critically about the materials we use and what else we include into our curriculum.
My advice to ECCE faculty is to take seriously the responsibility of changing lives.
What keeps me excited about the field of ECE has always been the kinds of spaces that invite collaborative, expansive, and joyful practices. I want to linger in these shared spaces with you, soften into them, and nourish them together. I have witnessed that these spaces invite more nuanced and complex understandings. They can orient us and give us courage to lean into a different way forward. And in the process of orienting and reorienting, we cultivate connections with ourselves, with each other, with children and place and materials and story and. I'm excited about the encounters in educational spaces that become possible when we slow down to listen without knowing why, which, by the way, I want to add at the top of every agenda. Slow down. Listen. What matters here?
As someone who was diagnosed with a learning disability well into adulthood and lived and went through the education system with little to no consideration about how I actually thought or processed the world, it's really exciting to be working with a group of teachers, other educators, and just general people who are passionate about meeting children where they are and understanding the complexities that children are experiencing.
What keeps me excited about the field of ECE? I think mostly it's the potential it holds to foster critical social change. When I was thinking about this question earlier today, I was reminded of a statement by a colleague in the ECCE department here at Capilano University who said simply, "All we want to do with our program is change the world." I find that kind of broad, transformative ambition empowering, and it motivates me every day. I find it fascinating when people, whether they are students, family members, or community members, come to a deeper understanding of the field through the work of educators and advocates. That moment when old and outdated and harmful understandings fall away and people's eyes are open to the radical potential of the field, you can see that in their faces. That moment is truly wonderful, and I find it deeply hopeful.
I remain excited about early childhood education when I find myself working in collaboration with students and with educators who are committed to thinking and laboring together, who refuse to give in to logics of individualism, and who are committed to tending to education as an ongoing project which matters for all, which points towards more just futures for both humans and more than human others.
What keeps me excited about ECE is the potential of our field to not only respond to the children, families, and communities within our local contexts, but our ability to further impact what kinds of collective worlds we want to co-create. For me, thinking interdisciplinarily is the most interesting aspect of the work, as it exposes me to diverse ways of knowing, being, and seeing within the many, many worlds, human and other than human, already always in existence. That being said, thinking about thinking isn't enough. Processes of co-composing curriculum and engaging with materials rooted in my particular commitments to reciprocity, anti-colonialism, and radical hope for the future are essential for making the work visible and bringing it to life.
It's really cool to work with flexible and ever-changing curriculum or inquiries, which is unlike a lot of other sectors of education. Also, it's exciting for me to really value artistic mediums as a way of investigation or thinking through an idea. It's a very special thing to be able to work with a team of educators to compel the inquiry and be able to work as a collective.
I value the strength of exploration and the creativity that arise when we challenge norms and when we embrace the unexpected in early childhood education.
What keeps me excited about the field of ECE is that it is ever evolving. I've been in the field for over 13 years, and it has been a constant journey of learning new things, and the things that I learn to better my practice flow into my work outside of the ECE field. The opportunity we have as early childhood educators to be those caring, skilled, respectful adults that help guide the future of our planet is really meaningful. It's a really fulfilling and very challenging line of work.
It constantly challenges my understanding of myself and others, including children, parents, and colleagues.
The fact that there are so many thoughtful educators who are continuously engaging in this radical and critical conversations and dialogues with one another to really uplift our field of education.
We're asking for the bursary grid that will reflect the cost of our studies,
especially the upper level courses of the ECCE bachelor program.
I hope as an educator, I can influence individuals, families, and society to fully hear and value children. There is a voice to say children are capable.
I'm excited about the interdisciplinary nature of early childhood education. I love thinking about the innumerable ways that different mediums and disciplines can come together to provide a new way of looking at the world and how we exist in it.
This is a project of hope, of possibility. We have no idea what will emerge, and any project that has possibility has hopes for something better.
What I find most interesting is that learning is not a right or wrong answer. Learning is such an array of knowledge. That relationship with me and the child, it's exciting.
What keeps me excited about this field is the idea of going beyond the expected and embracing the concept of continuous motion in working with materials. The process of working with materials is dynamic and evolving, with each action leading to new possibilities and iterations. This idea resonates with me because it reflects my belief in the importance of process-oriented learning. Rather than focusing solely on the conclusion, I see value in the engaging journey of exploration and interruptions that occurs during the process.
The early childhood educators are not babysitters or nannies. In fact, our work doesn't only involve fun and happiness and excitement, but our work involves complexities, working with unknown possibilities, and the diverse background and stories and experiences that children and families bring into our classroom. In order for early childhood educators to work with those complexities, it is important for early childhood educator students to be thinking with complex theories and ideas.
What keeps me excited about the field of ECCE and what is most interesting to me about the work is the idea that we are part of changing the narrative on who an early childhood educator can be in this sector. We're part of a really exciting time where we get to really think about what kinds of worlds do we want our children to inherit, what kind of a learner does it require to inherit those worlds.
I've seen just the change that research is sparking. Now more than ever, we're seeing the importance of cultivating an atmosphere in which early childhood education is viewed as a professional career, is viewed as a professional setting. The interesting part of this work for me is the conversations I have with children. Sometimes I'm having a conversation with a child that I feel like I would have with a fourth-year philosophy student. Children are coming from different walks of life, different stories, different experiences that kind of inform who they are, and how we then should create a curriculum that is resemblant of that. And that should then be educators who also are from different walks of life working together to create curriculum that then is responsive to the children of the space. The work can just become so complex.
And I'm speaking as an atelierista, as an artist educator who works with children. And what is most beautifully difficult is the interesting part about what it demands of me, and the improvisation, the ways of searching out things that I don't know, that I can't see, that I don't know how to touch, I don't know how to respond to, and what it actually requires of me, and how it calls me into a particular kind of educator, and how every moment with children presents me with the opportunity to become somebody more than I am, and to think more than I can think.
Stories need to be told to the children. Without stories, we know nothing of our past, our culture. Métis perspective reminds us that we need to get the stories going again, because there had been much silence over the years. A lot of stories have been lost, and it really is hard to take. But they're not all lost, and families have their stories. So it's up to us to take the lead in making our storytelling, the oral tradition, not lost.
There's so many changes throughout these past 5 years, and which protect our rights of educators and also families and also child, especially child. That's the most important thing.
It is an incredibly, truly joyous field. But it is not a simple joy. I think it's a complicated joy. In order to live these complex lives, and let's face it, they are complex, we need to bring something more. We need to ask more of ourselves, of each other.